Peter here, aka Peter Freakout, bringing another episode of the Movie Review Show. The good movies are always reviewed. Okay, back in our movie review today. Okay, before I start this review, I just want to say that I'm really sorry. This review has taken a long time to do, but the past week has been really rough. I've been working with my dad, and I just haven't had the energy to do a review. And just a lot has been getting in the way. And when I do have energy to do one, I'm just having gaming or exercising, just trying to keep up with life at the moment. Just haven't had the time. But here's the review, and I'm going to try and upload a lot more often, despite the fact that next month I'm going back to school, and that means homework's going to be up the butt, and just a lot of tests and quizzes, and I'm going to try and do some videos at times when I can do them. Just at the moment, I'm just really been going through a lot, really trying to get back into the routine for next month, because school means a lot to me and I want to do well and everything, but still going to do my reviews and such, and still going to do what I can. But anyway, all that aside, on today's episode, we're going to take a look at a film that is sort of similar along the lines of classic zombie movies, and it was inspired by the one, the only, George A. Romero. Now, there's no need to give an introduction for George A. Romero, seeing as how he is a big name in the horror industry, along the lines of directors such as Wes Craven, Stephen King, John Carpenter, and of course, H.P. Lovecraft. All the while, he's given big names. He's contributed bigly to the zombie genre, giving his films such as Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, and Land of the Dead. All of which focused on a group of people fighting off zombies in the most craziest and obscure ways possible. And a lot of his films are awesome. No one can top George A. Romero. Everything is there, from the acting, to the characters, to the setting, to the effects, and believe me, their movies are gushy and awesome. And by gushy, blood everywhere. And that's what makes it awesome. However, with every good one, there's always someone who wants that money and wants a piece of the pie. So a lot of people have been trying their own attempts to do zombie movies, and their attempts have failed. But there are some good ones out there. Like, we've had Brain Dead, in the U.S. known as Dead Alive, Zombieland, Dawn of the Dead, the remake, Night of the Living Dead, and of course The Walking Dead, which is the first time our lovers have gone into a TV show. From what I hear, I think it's a good show. So yeah, those are the four things. But there is another one that was inspired by George A. Romero stuff. In fact, it is also based off a book that served as a sequel to Night of the Living Dead. And when the film was being made, it tried to enlist help from George A. Romero, but unfortunately that plan backfired when George decided that it was best to go off and do his own movies. So he decided to hand it to Dan O'Bannon, best known for screenwriting the Alien films and a bunch of other films, which I can't list at the top of my head, but those are the few things that I remember him most for. But this is a film that I did not think was going to be that good. I know, shoot me. And just by looking at the cover, I thought it looked like the stupidest movie ever, because it didn't look like it appealed to me. And I had this thing when I was little where I always thought just because something wasn't serious, it didn't mean that good. Because I always felt like if you're going to watch a horror movie, at least make it serious in it while also making it fun. Whereas the campiness, I felt, kind of drew me out of it. But here, as I got older, I started to get into that whole idea a little bit more. And And the result of me getting into this film increased a bit. It didn't, but I still felt it wasn't worth to spend the money. But then I saw Rob Rand's review, who discussed the movie in his favorite 80s horror films, and he gave the movie a good review, so my expectations went up a lot more. So I immediately went out and decided to watch it. And what film is that, you may ask? That film is none other than Return of the Living Dead. Now, as I said, this is based on a book that served as a sequel to Night of the Living Dead, but the tone of this movie is drastically changed from the book, seeing as how the production it was directed by Dan O'Bannon, but we'll get to that later. Now, immediately when I got this film, I immediately thought the worst. I thought it was going to stink. I thought it was going to focus on slapstick 24/7, and I just put it in with low expectations. But to tell you the truth, I thought it was awesome. I think this movie is great, and I think it is probably better than a lot of the zombie stuff that we have today, and I think it's just a unique, fun, and gory ride that I love. And this is probably up there with films such as Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. It is just a fantastic movie, and it goes up there with all those great films like Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Zombieland, all of which are great zombie movies and are my favorite. This is one of those movies, and I think it is just great, but I'll get into why later. But Return of the Living Dead was made in 1985, and it was directed by Dan O'Bannon, who, as I said, already wrote a screenplay in the Alien films. And it doesn't really have a well-known cast. Some of them have gone on to do horror films. You might recognize this one if you are a Scream nut. But you got Tom Matthews, who you might remember from Friday the 13th Part 6, who he played Tommy Jarvis, who in the original Friday the 13th Part 4, he was played by Corey Feldman. And you also got Linnea Quigley in it, who would go on to do Night of the Demons, who also went on to do a lot of B-horror stuff. She did that one movie, Jacko, the one with the huge pumpkin guy. That was one of the movies. She also did Creepazoids, Pumpkinhead 2, she had a quick appearance in, and a bunch of other B-horror movies. You got James Cameron, you got Don Calfa, and you got that dude from Friday the 13th Part 5, the guy that was killed in the porta potty. He also was in Leprechaun 4 in Space, that travesty, as I like to call it. But Return of the Living Dead is a fun movie. I think it's really, really great. I thought that my brother at the time of his life watching it, I just thought it was great. And it's just all around a fun zombie movie that I really do think is different and it pays off. But I'll get into why it's different later. But anyway, the basic plot of the movie is basically this. We meet this kid named Freddy, played by Tom Matthews, who is spending his first day working at an army surplus store. Well, his first day on the job, as I like to call it. And immediately there, he meets up with this guy who works there and tells him that there are these bodies in the basement that were sent there after an incident that sort of happened. Well, they sort of tie in that it was basically Night of the Living Dead, but it was supposed to be what Night of the Living Dead was supposed to be based off, but it was supposed to be switched around. But they had to change it for some reason, I forget why. And he shows them down there, and one of them decides to be an idiot, hits the thing, and that leaks out this nerve gas that wakes up everything in the building, whether it's living or not, and it turns them all into zombies. Like there's a point in the game where a couple of statues come to life, and immediately they try to use zombie logic in it, like they try to chop off the head and everything, but immediately it comes out and squirts out this green goo, and also there's a dog statue that comes to life, but it's small and everything, and it has itself it's a small dog, and it's glued to a statue, and that immediately comes to life, and it's in half too. Like, you see the inside of the dog and everything. And meanwhile, all that's going on, we keep jumping between these people, who are played by Clu Gallagher, James Cameron, John Calfa, and Linnea Quigley, all of which are friends of Freddy. One of them, which is his girlfriend, and they just. I don't know what's up with these kids, but they decide to party at a dang cemetery while waiting for Freddy. And immediately, we jump back to Tommy, and they find out that the only way to get rid of the corpses, they think, is to burn them. So they take him to this. I don't know what they call these guys who burn the bodies after they died, but they take it to the. I'm just gonna say it's a funeral home, but they take it to a funeral home, and they attempt to burn the body, but the nerve gas goes out through the chimney and wakes up the dead where the kids are partying, and they all are getting terrorized one by one through the zombies. So just like Dawn of the Dead, that means they have to fight back. And also, Tommy and his friend Freddy might have some hiding too. I keep saying Tommy, I meant Freddy, but also Freddy and his friend might have some stuff hidden as well. And it is low, and it is no pulse. Will they be able to fight back and save their friends from the zombies, or will they all be on the menu for the next zombie special? Best I could do. But Return of the Living Dead, I love this movie. I think it is great. While I do like this film, I do not think it's better than the George A. Romero films, but I think it's great in its own way. First thing that comes to mind that makes this film unique is its story. Like, the story itself, I think, is really, really well done. I love the fact that in the movie that they try to be different. Like, they give it, like, this whole, idea, like, you can't kill the zombies whether they chopped off your head or not. So, immediately, that takes, a different tone and a more different approach to zombies than the last movie. And I think they did a good job working that in. I thought it was really well told. I thought that one scene where they're trying to chop off the zombie is actually really, really funny, just how they were acting. Oh my god! Like, that whole scene, I was laughing so hard at that scene. Like, not because they were dying or anything, but that scene was really funny. There's also some points. I also like the fact that in the movie that they also bring some of the stuff that's not dead. Well, they are dead, but I wouldn't say they're dead, but they're more like not living to life. I thought that was actually pretty cool. That one point where the dog comes to life and they're like hitting it with the rod. I thought that scene was actually really funny. Like, the guy's like hitting is like, stop, stop, stop. That scene was pretty cool. But the story was well written. The movie itself goes through a different tone, whereas Dawn of the Dead and all of George A. Romero's movies tend to be more serious. This one includes more of like a slapstick approach to the zombie apocalypse thing, kind of along the lines of Zombieland in a way, kind of along the lines of the comic-y, goofy cheesiness that Zombieland brought. But it still keeps itself in that serious route. And I think they really gave that a lot down. I mean, yeah. Also if you're a future Scream Queen guy, you get to see Linnea Quigley naked. So, yes, if you want to see that, there's your movie. Or you can just get Night of the Demons, which I'm gonna get soon. But I thought they really added those two things really well together. I thought they really carried it through really well. And at times it was unique. It was really, really well done. Some of the scenes are actually really, really funny in a lot of ways. I think they're really well put together. The slapstick and the whole horror feel, I think, really are well put together. And I talk about that a lot in my reviews because a lot of the movies I do watch do have the comic-y cheesiness and horror seriousness put together. And I think this is one of the movies that shows that element really, really, really well. It's really well done here, and it's just really, really well put together, and it's really well written too, and it is definitely put in there really, really well, and I'm glad that they actually took a different approach instead of adding it with the cliche, like, oh, let's be the same as George A. Romero's movies, which is unnecessary. You don't need to be similar to be the same movie. It just was really, really well done with this movie, and I think they really tied it all together really, really well. So overall, that's definitely one of the things I do enjoy about this movie. Is definitely the story, and the tone that goes with the story is really, really well done. Because even with today's zombie movies, like The Walking Dead and everything, they feel to go back to the same route as some of the other zombie movies before, like Zombieland. Even though it is the same thing, that doesn't mean it's a bad movie or anything. But I just feel like they kind of go back to just down the same route that a lot of George A. Romero films go through, especially The Walking Dead. On season 25 or 2050. Which I'm pretty sure that show's going to go on for. They tend to go back the same route. I think that a lot of series today should be like this movie, and I think that they should take a lot of info. If they want to be different, if they want to draw people in, at least make them like this movie, and at least make them unique. And I think this is one of the reasons that I think this movie works, and I think it's really, really just well done. So, overall, really enjoyed the story. The acting here is very well done. I think Tom Matthews did a good job as the main character. You do feel sorry for him, what he's going through and everything. Yes, some of the other characters besides Freddy. No, Tommy! I keep saying Tommy and Freddy. His real name is Freddy. Where do I keep getting Tommy from? I do like the fact that they made Freddy's character relatable. Like, I love the fact that he's trying to fight the fact that he is a zombie out of his mind. He's trying to not believe that he's a zombie and everything, and that's told through really, really well. And a lot of the scenes we see him struggling with his friend to try and fight this whole disease and try to just basically survive themselves. I thought were really, really, really well done. So those scenes are pretty well. The other characters, on the other hand, wow, they're just the cliche, generic people, and that sort of comes out of nowhere for a film like this. Seeing as how, like, it is a zombie movie, and a lot of the characters in zombie movies don't really contain the same cliched characters. I'm still fine with that. I'm still fine with how they added that in there. I mean, it is out of place and everything, but... Sorry about that. I still felt they did it well here, and definitely maxed it to a T. I know it sounds stupid. I think they explained that to a T really well. So, overall, that was definitely one of the highlights of the film. Definitely the characters and such. I mean, yeah, they are cliched and everything, and yes, they do. I mean, yes, you do see Linnea Quigley doing the same thing in this movie as she did in other films, but overall, definitely felt they executed it all really, really well here. And it's definitely well told. There's definitely a lot of funny moments because there is slapstick added to this. So, yeah, that was definitely added into the movie really, really well. And it was just really well done. I mean, some of the scenes with the zombies are funny. Brains! Like that scene, I was laughing so hard at that. Like, not the fact that the zombie's killing people, but just by the fact that it says brains 24/7. I thought that scene was actually really, really funny. He's like chasing them, and it was just really like the fact that it's adding in like rock music 24/7 just makes it even funnier in a lot of the scenes. So yeah, that's one thing I do enjoy. But let's talk about the one thing we want to talk about. The zombies. Yes, the zombies in this movie are awesome. The effects on them are awesome. Like, it's when they start coming after a lot of them, it's bloody, it's gory, it's fun to sit through. It's just all around bloody and gory to the max. Just really gross, really just awesome. Like, I think today's films, like, this is one of the few films that I think people should go back and rewatch and actually see. Like, if you want good effects and everything, definitely go back and rewatch films like this, Reanimator, or even then or even just a few films before it that I think have better effects than the stuff they put in today, which looks like absolute junk. This is the way to go. This is the way to, if you want to see good gore, good blood effects, films like this are awesome. So overall, the film itself is great. Now, it does have one minor problem. It is a nitpick, but I still feel the need to talk about it. Like, towards the end of the movie, I sort of got tired. I don't know if I was tired or not, or I was waiting for another film that we were going to watch, but the film, like, dragged on towards the end, and it just dragged and it just got tiring towards the end, but it's just a minor problem. I still felt interested in the movie. It's just, when the film started to go like towards the end and everything, I just felt tired, and just really felt it just dragged on and on. But overall, Return of the Living Dead is a fun B cheese fest that I think is awesome. It's at slapstick. If you're looking for a good zombie movie with slapstick, I recommend this or Zombieland. I just think this is a well-made zombie movie that I think people, if you're watching today and you want to make a great zombie movie, look here. And either way, if you're a zombie lover, I definitely recommend you go see Return of the Living Dead. I was stupid about what I said about it. I think it is a fantastic zombie movie. Even with that one minor nitpick that I said, I still think this is a fantastic movie. So either way, I give Return of the Living Dead a 9 out of 10. It is awesome. It is a great zombie movie. Don't you forget it. It is just so well made. It is just, oh my god, this movie is awesome. So overall, this is definitely a zombie movie that I would check out. And because of the success of this movie, they have made sequels to it, Return of the Living Dead 2, Return of the Living Dead 3, and there's sci-fi channels which I don't even want to watch. But I'm definitely going to get the 2 sequels and review those, and I'll be sure to tell you what I think of it. Return of the Living Dead 2 I might do as a Scream Fest movie, but could be wrong. But definitely going to check those out, and I definitely recommend you guys check this out. But that's my review for Return of the Living Dead. And next time, I'm going to do a review on the longer-awaited film that I want to do a review on for a long time, Major League. Really excited to do this movie. And then after that, I got a review of a game that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. Disc popped down on this thing. Lollipop Chainsaw. I got the disc in here. When I do the review, I might put the disc out like this, and I might hold it the whole time. I don't know if I should do that or not, but definitely gonna review that. And I also got an update here for you guys. Another one. I got a few films, and I got one VHS tape here, one of which I had to replace because I lost the film, but definitely going to review that film. And let's just start. The first one I picked up is a sequel to a film that I'm going to review. The reason why the review is taking so long was because a friend of mine had to borrow the movie, and I'm fine with that. Just really wanted to review that film sooner than later, but still, I'm going to review the first one. I'm definitely going to take a look at this one, too. Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo. This is the sequel to Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. And from what I heard, this movie is not as good as the first. And from how it looks, yes, it does not look as good as the first, but it still looks funny. I mean, it looks all right and everything. It just doesn't look as fun as the first one. Still, overall, I'm still willing to try it. But there's one of the next films I picked up are 3 films that are the sequel to probably a film that I watched recently, and it instantly became one of my favorites, and that is the Crow sequel. We got Crow City of Angels, The Crow Salvation, and The Crow Wicked Prayer. This one I heard was a piece of junk, but still want to try it because I like Edward Furlong. I really miss this guy. I love Pet Sematary 2 a lot more than the first one. That is surprising. I watched a little bit of City of Angels on the net. It doesn't look as bad as some people said it was. I mean, definitely not as good as the first. Brandon Lee is the one that will never be topped. God rest his soul. But definitely looks good, this movie. I'm definitely willing to review it. I'll be sure to tell you guys what I think of these movies. I might do the whole Crow series as a Scream Fest movie. Next film I picked up was a film that I watched that my dad introduced me to a long time ago. I decided to review it, and that is Starship Troopers with Casper Van Dien, Denise Richards, yes, Charlie Sheen's ex-wife, Jake Busey, Gary Busey's son, Neil Patrick Harris, yes, Doogie Howser, Patrick Muldoon, and Michael Ironside, yes, Sam Fisher's in this movie. But willing to give this film a try, I'll be sure to tell you guys what I think of it when I watch it. Next film I picked up was a film that that came out on Blu-ray recently, but I still wanted to get the DVD of it because it was cheaper, and that is The Phantom of the Opera. This is the horror version of it with Robert Englund. Yes, Freddy Krueger's in this movie, and looks very good. I watched OCP Communications for review of it. If you don't know his channel, check that channel out. Definitely a good reviewer. But this is one of the few films he's reviewed, and I thought it looked cool from what he said. And I like Robert Englund a lot. I love a lot of people don't know this, but he was the Riddler in The Batman. I love him in that show. He also has done Freddy, of course, but I definitely hear that this is one of his most underappreciated roles, and I'm definitely going to see how I think of it when I see it. I'll be sure what I think of it. Next film I picked up was film that I saw Shitcase Cinema's review of it, and believe it or not, this is a film that I hear very in the middle about, and I saw Matt or OCP Communications review of it, and he included this in a DVD update, and he thought this film was absolute bad too, but I saw it on TV, and I didn't mind it. I thought it was fun. I kind of do enjoy this movie. That is Sleep Stalker, The Sandman's Last Rites. But yeah, this is the DVD of it. It's a kind of a bootleg or bare bones DVD. Not much on it. I would have loved to see how they managed to do all that. Nothing much came with it. That's one of the films I picked up. The next one I picked up was a film that I had before, but I lost it, and I'm happy to get it on VHS because it was like 68 cents at a Bull Moose I went to, and that is All Dogs Go to Heaven 2 on VHS. I have to admit this, I love this movie, and I'm willing to say that. I love this movie with my heart. I'm willing to say that I love it more than the first one, but I'll get into why later. I think it's, to me, one of the most underrated sequels out there. Probably, as I said in my review, up there with Ice Age 4. So, yeah, definitely going to tell you guys what I think of it when I watch it. Going to do that as a Valentine's Day review because there's some romance in it. The last one I picked up was a comic book based on, as I said, one of my favorite films, and that is The Crow. I saw Canto 1408's review of it, and he gave this book a good review, so I wanted to give it a try too, seeing as how I love the film and everything. I looked through some of the pages, they look pretty cool and everything. I love this whole black and white tone of it, and I think it captures the feel of right before of everything there too. And plus, get a quote from Clive Barker there. So if Clive Barker likes it, it must be good. So I'm gonna read this, and I'll be sure to tell you guys what I think of it. And I'll see you guys later. That's all I have to show. And I'm gonna be going back to Bull Moose next week. I'm gonna get some more comics too. I'm almost done with the Spawn comic, and I'll be sure to tell you guys what I think of it when I'm done. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you guys think of Return of the Living Dead in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.